Welcome to Half 2-4. Today in the show, Andoni Iraola signed a contract with Liverpool until June 2029 and launches such a total cleaning of the dressing room that the entire Premier League will shake. Meanwhile, PSG is trying right from under the nose to intercept the main transfer target from the Merseysiders for 150 million euros. Also today, Istanbul's Fenerbahce offers a cosmic contract to Robert Lewandowski. We will tell you what the poll agreed to, who became the best transfer of the season in England, and the return of Onana to United. We talk about all this and much more right now. It is time for a real Anfield rage. Forget about calm and pragmatic football, because the Merseysiders officially announced a change of course and are launching a large-scale capital rebuild of the dressing room from which the entire Premier League will shake. So, it is confirmed that Andoni Iraola is the new leader of Liverpool, and the contract has already been signed until June 2029. And now get ready, because the Basque specialist came not just to coach, but to clean the squad with incredible aggression. While the bosses were closing legal issues, Iraola already demanded to expel 9 players, including real veterans, and prepared a short list of 5 newcomers, where for just one top winger they will have to lay out a crazy £129 million. Let us look behind the scenes and find out how the updated management plans to return the Reds to the top and who has already given consent to this historic move. Let us look at things soberly and by the facts. The club management made a decision to act instantly after Arne Slot failed his second season, finishing only in 5th place. The Basque was appointed strictly under the philosophy of high pressing, but for this he needs a total replacement of personnel. First of all, a great cleansing begins. According to information from ESPN, the departures of Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson, and Ibrahima Konate are officially confirmed. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Iraola gave the green light to the sale of 4 more well-known figures: Alisson Becker, Curtis Jones, Federico Chiesa, and Joe Gomez. Despite the fact that Team Talk assures that the club is currently trying to block the sale of Alisson, the situation with the other 3 looks maximally real. Jones, it seems, is closest to a change of registration. He even turned down Aston Villa, choosing an intriguing move to the Italian Serie A. And in their place, the new coach demands to sign 5 monsters of intensity. The main #1 target is the elite 19-year-old winger of RB Leipzig, Yan Diomande. The Reds have been tracking this guy for a long time, but the search capitally intensified after the December behind-the-scenes scandal of the Egyptian Mo Salah with Arne Slot. As reported by Bild, the Germans demand a crazy 150 million euros for their pearl, which at the current exchange rate equals 129 million pounds. Authoritative insider Santi Auna confirmed that Diomande himself has already given consent to a transfer to Liverpool or PSG, and the option with the Merseysiders attracts him much more than the interest of Bayern. Also in the list of wingers figure Bradley Barcola from PSG and Jared Bowen, whose West Ham has just dropped into the Championship. In addition to the attack, the Basque demands to urgently close the right flank of defense due to the constant injuries of Jeremy Frimpong and the lack of experience of Connor Bradley. The priority became Denzel Dumfries from the Milan side Inter, who is available for a ridiculous 25 million euros through a buyout clause. And what is most important, the football player himself is pressing the Nerazzurri to let him go to Anfield. And the last reinforcement demanded by the Basque coach is a new midfielder with crazy legs. The ideal candidate is Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. And although the Eagles flatly refused to sell him, a price tag of £80 million could force them to change their minds. I think the invitation of Andoni Iraola is indeed a good and promising choice for Liverpool. But let us be without illusions. For the Basque, a completely different cosmic reality is beginning now. At Bournemouth, he built a wonderful, likable team. But there, the crazy pressure of every-minute results under the microscope of the world media never hung over him. On the other hand, he has never had such a strong and deep squad before. Even with those performers who are already at Anfield, it is possible to mold a super powerful team. And if the bosses pressure the transfer of Diomande, it will be cosmic in general. Therefore, the main risk here is only one. Will Andoni have enough purely psychological skills and authority to manage world superstars and their egos? But you know, I have a strong feeling that the Basque will cope and build a gang in Merseyside that will really fight for the highest places. Of course, the players will need time to fully comprehend all his tactical ideas. Even if from the first rounds there is no 100% result on the scoreboard, but we see a clear pattern of play and intensity progress will come very quickly. In short, from the very first matches of the season, it will become absolutely clear whether the new Liverpool is moving in the right direction, regardless of the score in each specific game. PSG is also actively tracking Diomande, trying to intercept the main transfer target of Liverpool right from under the nose of the Merseysiders. However, the Parisian giant does not limit itself only to the flanks of the attack. The authoritative publication 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗘 reports that the French champions have set their sights on the super talented forward of Bournemouth, 𝗗𝗘𝗔𝗟. The bosses of the Parisians want to complete a double mega transfer already this summer, but a wild competition from the leaders of the Premier League has risen in their way. Let us find out which English giants are already showering the office of the cherries with calls, why Luis Enrique personally demands this 19-year-old Frenchman, and because of whom a great personnel cleansing will begin in Paris. Let us go by the facts, because the situation is unfolding at the highest level. PSG is considering the possibility of signing both football players, but any new arrivals to the team will directly depend on departures. The main candidate for sale became Bradley Barcola, in whom, by the way, Liverpool is actively interested, as we told earlier. If Barcola leaves Paris, a spot for a new superstar will be freed up instantly. But while regarding Diomande, negotiations are going in parallel between Leipzig, Paris, and Liverpool, a real European war has unfolded around 𝗗𝗘𝗔𝗟. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that PSG, London's Arsenal, and Manchester City recently called the management of Bournemouth to find out all the details regarding the transfer of the striker. Moreover, back in April, a similar request was made by the Munich side Bayern. Now all the top clubs of Europe have frozen in anticipation, while the Cherries officially form and announce the final price tag on their wonder kid. Luis Enrique is simply delighted with 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗘, who in his debut season in the Premier League scored 13 goals and set an absolute record for teenagers in the English Championship. Despite the fact that the forward's contract is calculated until 2030 and the English plan to hold the defense, an offer from his native French top club, which has just defended the title in the Champions League under Luis Enrique, can change everything very quickly. My opinion? For PSG, this is an absolutely logical and very correct strategy to take the best French talents from all over the world before they are intercepted by Premier League clubs. 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗘 spent a phenomenal year in England, and his 13 goals for Bournemouth prove that the guy is ready for big challenges. Selling Barcola and signing the pair Diomande 𝗗𝗢𝗡 is a boardroom masterclass that will significantly update and rejuvenate the attack of Luis Enrique's team. Moreover, it will be difficult for Arsenal and Manchester City to guarantee a stable start to the 19-year-old guy, while in Paris, he can become a new icon. But if we are talking about Diomande, then this situation becomes critical for Liverpool. I've already mentioned that at Anfield, they consider the winger as the main target to replace Salah, but with each passing day, the hunt for him intensifies, and PSG clearly demonstrated this. The bosses of Liverpool need to move instantly to close this transfer, because someone else can come and decide everything in a matter of days. We saw how Barcelona flew in and took Gordon in one day. Of course, there were previous contacts, but the final blow was lightning fast. Liverpool risks being left with nothing if it continues to delay, because in the market, Diomande is already considered a tasty piece for any top club. London's Chelsea begins a very pragmatic personnel review around its attacking line. The authoritative publication Goal shared an insight about the future of Nicolas Jackson, which forced many fans to look at the squad potential of the team in a new way. At one time, the Blues purchased the Senegalese for 37 million euros, then sent him on a one-year loan to the Munich side Bayern, and now received the player back without a final sale. However, an unexpected second attempt from Xabi Alonso himself awaits him in London. Let us look at things soberly and through the prism of finances, because Chelsea actually pulled off a very profitable mathematical deal. In direct money to their account for the loan of the forward, the London club received 16.5 million euros. Plus, the Londoners saved 6 million euros on his salary, which the Germans fully took upon themselves. In total over this year, Chelsea won 22.5 million euros on the loan of the forward, even despite the fact that Bayern did not use the buyout option for 65 million euros. The Blues significantly unloaded their balance sheet, returning a player who scored 11 goals in 34 matches in Germany. And now regarding the reasons why the return of the 24-year-old Senegalese became so relevant for London. Last summer, the club signed João Pedro and Liam Delap. And if Pedro justified his status as a top forward, Delap completely and with a crash failed his debut season at Stamford Bridge. Liam's statistics in all competitions look frankly weak. He managed to score a total of 1 goal in 22 matches, mostly appearing on the pitch at the curtain of meetings. The guy capitally lost his form, and he is no longer counted on in the club. Because of this failure of Delap, a squad vacuum was formed at Chelsea. João Pedro remained almost the only and alternative central striker. The season is long, rotation is critically needed, and the risk of injuries or banal fatigue has not been canceled by anyone. It was Xabi Alonso who personally asked the management not to sell Jackson immediately, as he wants to assess his potential during preseason preparation. The Senegalese can get quite a lot of playing time if he shows himself well. However, Nicolas himself has already set a condition. The role of a deep reserve player does not interest him. He demands guarantees of regular appearances on the pitch. If Alonso provides them, the forward will be left in London, if not a good transfer offer from other clubs, can still complete this story with a sale. This experiment looks completely logical for the Londoners. Earning 22.5 million euros on a loan, returning an adapted player and closing a position for rotation for free after Delap's failure is a great scenario. Xabi Alonso has already proved that he knows how to squeeze the maximum out of those performers on whom others put a cross. Considering that Delap scored a total of 1 goal over the whole year, Jackson is now needed by the team to back up João Pedro. If the Senegalese agrees to prove everything with work and accepts the demands of the Spanish manager, this union will bring a lot of benefit to the Blues. Friends, if you have watched up to this point, then subscribe to the channel. It is not hard for you and pleasant for us. And while you are subscribing, we move on. While European top clubs are only preparing for the summer transfer window, a real bomb exploded in Turkish football. Istanbul's Fenerbahce has officially launched an assault and is trying to sign Robert Lewandowski. After the legendary Pole officially said goodbye to Barcelona, the Turkish giant instantly approached the entourage of the 37-year-old forward and laid a simply crazy contract on the table. Let us find out what millions are being offered to the striker in Istanbul, why he opened the door for these negotiations, and who exactly stands behind this sensational transfer. Let us go by the facts, because the situation is developing maximally seriously. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that the first contacts with the striker's camp have already taken place. The Pole's name became the main trump card in the election race signing. Robert is demanded by a candidate for the presidency of Fenerbahce named Safi, who strives at all costs to bring a world superstar to the 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗘. And Lewandowski himself has not rejected this offer for now, but continues to thoroughly evaluate all available options for continuing his career. But Nicolas went even further and revealed the concrete, absolutely indecent figures of this offer. The Turkish club is not just an interested party, but is pressing crazily, trying to close the deal as quickly as possible. Robert was offered a long-term contract until 2028 with a cosmic salary in the amount of 10 million euros a year. For a free agent at this age, Getting such financial conditions and guarantees for 2 seasons ahead is a real jackpot. That is precisely why the Polish sniper has already officially opened the door for the move and gave preliminary consent to negotiations with the Turks. For Fenerbahce, this will be a transfer of cosmic scale, which will instantly raise the media profile and status of all Turkish football. Robert has already proved everything to everyone in Europe, and going for 2 years to Istanbul for 10 million euros a season, where hot Turkish fans will carry you in their arms, is a luxurious conclusion to a great career. Since the contract with the Catalans is completed, the Pole is absolutely clean before his conscience and can safely choose the best financial option. Although, frankly speaking, I still doubt the completion of this transfer for now, but we will see. A boardroom operation to rebuild the team starts at Tottenham. After a difficult preservation of registration in the PL, the management is conducting negotiations regarding defensive midfielder João Palhinha. Despite the attempts of Sporting to return their academy graduate, the football player himself has already decided. Palhinha decided to stay in London and become a key figure in the new project of Roberto De Zerbi. The rights to the midfielder belong to Bayern until 2028, but the Munich side demands a permanent sale to return a part of the 50 million euros they once paid to Fulham. Istanbul's Sporting tried to take advantage of this, looking for a replacement for Morten Ullmann. Manager Rui Borges even agreed verbal terms with João, as the player was ready to lower his 9 million Munich salary because of his family. However, the Portuguese asked only for a loan, which does not suit the Germans. For Palhinha himself, the absolute priority is precisely Tottenham. The past season turned out to be catastrophic for the Spurs. The team finished in 17th place and avoided relegation only thanks to a single goal of the Portuguese against Everton. Despite the decline, new coach Roberto De Zerbi sees in João an ironclad leader. There was a buyout option for 30 million euros in London, and even if its deadline has passed, the Spurs bosses are still preparing a direct official offer to satisfy the request of De Zerbi and keep the Portuguese in the Premier League. The Premier League has officially named the best transfer of the season. The main recognition went to a modest newcomer of Manchester United, 23-year-old Belgian goalkeeper Senne Lammens. He surpassed the star Victor Gyökeres and João Pedro in the voting. However, while fans are celebrating, a 50 million goalkeeper returns from loan to Old Trafford. The transfer of Lammens from Antwerp cost the Mancunians 21 million euros. The Belgian adapted so quickly that he made people forget about the nervous times in the goal frame. In his debut season of the Premier League, Senne spent 32 matches, conceded 39 goals, made 79 saves, and registered 8 clean sheets. In the voting, he surpassed Calvert-Lewin, Cherki, Gyökeres, and João Pedro. This is a complete triumph for the club, as the best player of the season was also recognized as a representative of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, for his 9 goals and a record 21 assists. But Lammens should not relax, because the 50 million Andre Onana returns to Michael Carrick for preseason training. Of course, he will certainly not play in the main squad, as everyone remembers how he clowned in Manchester last year, and the club is actively looking for options for his employment. Right now, the main contender for the Cameroonian is the Turkish Trabzonspor. The Turks are satisfied with his performances on loan and want to discuss a new agreement until June 2027. Ahead are negotiations between United and the player's agents for the final closure of the issue. My opinion, the recognition of Lammens is completely deserved. Getting confidence and peace in goal for 21 million euros is an excellent move. The return of Onana, this sounds like a joke to me already, and of course, counting on him as a competitor for Senne is meaningless. Friends, thank you for watching, and if you liked the episode, do not spare a like and subscribe.